back again to another formal sitting for half an hour. And I'm glad that you guys have found your way back, and I hope you guys are satiated, feeling good, and ready for another sit for half an hour. And we'll continue another Dharma talk about some of the things that I experienced inside the forest. It seems that some of you guys are kind of interested about what's going on in that jungle. I wasn't too sure. I was afraid that I was boring you guys with some of the same stories. I can tell you guys some interesting things that help me gain clarity and mindfulness in my practice and my behavior. So I think that I'll share with you guys some intimate moments there to keep you guys more interested about the extreme forms, extreme ways that I learned how to transform my extreme behaviors. So we're going to sit for the time being for half an hour. It is 1:13, and third bell, get comfortable. Sit in a way that gains clarity, easy for your breath to travel throughout the body, and watch your breath and be in calm abiding. Amitabha, Amitabha. Namo Sutta Kamuniha. Namo Sutta Kamuniha. Namo Sutta Kamuniha. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. disciples and all human beings realize full awakening with the steps that we take towards being closer to the Dharma, be the merit that leads us away from suffering. And that concludes our sitting meditation for the moment. Now we will begin our talk of today about some things that hopefully will help us gain clarity in our actions and behaviors and the usage of mindfulness in our everyday lives. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So in the meditation, I was thinking about clearing the clutter in our minds. We have a lot of clutter in our minds, and it is very reflective, the clutter we have in our minds, by the habits that we keep on the external. The things that we're doing in the external are very, very reflective of what's happening inside of our own bodies. And you have to be able to see that. You have to be able to see it deeply. If there's constantly nothing but clutter surrounding you, that means your mind is doing the same thing. I became aware of that when I was in Cambodia as a young monk. I think at that time, I just became a fully ordained monk. Just became a new fully ordained monk. One of those habits was we have to sweep the temple. At that time, it was more of an ashram, big, huge ashram that we prayed in, no walls. It just had pillars and a nice big roof. And we had to make do of finding out where to sleep amongst the forest. I like to sleep outside of the ashram because, it's noisy. People are noisy. People are always coming through up to the ashram to offer etc. I want to sleep. This one wants to be awake. This one makes noise. This one wants to sleep. So I chose to sleep and take my things far off into this enclave that I found deeper into the forest. We always had to sleep. One of the biggest tasks that you ever find in a forest monk is always sleeping. At all times throughout the day, morning, afternoon, and evening, or late afternoon. Not so much the afternoon, but late afternoon and the evening. You have to sweep up all the dirt. And it's not like it's cement, it's jungle dirt. And outside there's always something to learned a good lesson there. I learned a really good lesson there. I would start sweeping as fast as I possibly could. Now I tried not to leave not one leaf on the ground. And the faster, the more viciously I swept, I found out that it was such a futile action. It was a futile investment. I would sweep, and as soon as I turned around, there's about 100 leaves right behind me again. So I'd go back and I'd redo that, and I rushed to do more. And it wasn't just a little space. It was a long distance. I got the pictures. Don't worry, we're going to put them up there. I got the pictures. There's no such thing as a forest temple that doesn't have 1,000,000 steps. I'm going to tell you that now. Okay, thousands of steps. You wouldn't believe me. Oh, man. On this mission of me being the Iron Man of sweeping, I realized that the more that swept, the angrier I became. Why? I just swept and all of a sudden there's more leaves. I just swept and I'm trying to keep this temple clean, and look, there's all these leaves behind me. Now the master's going to complain. He's going to think I'm not sweeping. He's going to think, the other monks are going to think I'm lazy. And then it finally dawned on me after some time, but after it took a while for me to realize. I'm supposed to be sweeping right now in the present moment, right here. Whatever falls from behind, that's the past. That has nothing to do with the present moment. You sweep right here. And in your future present moment, you take care of that. And I started to realize if I'm going to continue being useful in the temple, then I need to make my happiness not trapped in some past, not anticipated far in the future, but have a 3-foot radius of happiness. My happiness has to be right here in 3 feet. So that means between my head, 3 feet of happiness between this area right here. I eat right. I have the right intention in my heart and the right thoughts in my head. That's about 3 feet. Almost. That means from my navel all the way down to my feet, that's also about another 3 feet. I'm 6'2". So that means that where I'm walking and where I'm standing and walking, I need to have happiness between that 3 feet. My broom, which I'm sweeping, that's 3 feet of clean happiness right there. Not 10 feet behind me, 20 feet ahead. I start to tell myself that there is nothing out here looking for you to attack you. You're in the midst of nature. You're in the midst of the environment. Why am I fighting with the sweep? I'm out here in the middle of the jungle fighting with a broom and leaves that are bound to fall off the tree. Where did your mindfulness go? Where did your practice go? Why did you make up the story about the master complaining about you? That was something I concocted in my mind. He's been out here longer than you. You think he doesn't know about the leaves in the trees? Me believing the delusion. Me chasing this delusion. And then I also learned that what in the past is in the past. You take the steps that you need right now to change your past and to alter your present. Alter your future is right now. They're all in the same place. Future and the past are all in the same places right now. I realized that when I was sweeping like a maniac, I was breathing really heavy. I need to calm down. Bro, take it easy. No one is looking for you. No one is calling you. No one is telling you you missed a spot. No one even told you you need to sweep. And I made this big scenario in my mind, like it's important. I made myself the authoritarian sweep guard for the temple for nothing, to prove that I was worthy or useful in the temple. I made this up for no reason, and it was stressing me out. You got to calm down. First, I realized that I need to calm my breathing down and focus simply on the sound of the sweeping. And use that as a tool, an audible tune and tool to gain my consciousness, to gain clarity, to gain calmness, and fall in love with the sound. Not just to hear it, but fall in love as a tune like the bell. And when I started to hear and listen deeply to the sweep, I would hear the others also sweeping. And it was a beacon for me to gain mindfulness just by hearing someone else's sweeping. It became such a beautiful sound. And I slowed down. It wasn't about finishing. It was about being in the present moment and gladdening the heart. Not about the leaves that fell, or not about anticipating the leaves that will fall. It had nothing to do with that at all. And then guess what? I didn't mind about the leaves in the past, back behind me, or how many leaves were in the front. I was only concerned about the leaves that are underneath my 3 feet radius of happiness. That's all I was worried about. And I learned a lot about that story. I think I wrote about it in one of the books. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Chasing Enlightenment. One of the books, the stories of that. So I realized that when you have a lot of anger, frustration, your breathing is tense, it's harsh, your actions are erratic, and your brain starts taking you to places that it just creates by itself, you're being pulled down the river like a fish hook inside of its mouth, and your ideas, your mind is just pulling you down the stream. You have no more control over yourself because you're so balled up in anger and frustration. You don't even know what you're doing. I'm the angriest person in the forest temple, and I'm angry because I'm angry. I'm angry because I'm angry, and everybody else is just chilling. Everyone else is just relaxing. They're obviously the older monks than I was. But they were all watching me. And there was a lot of pressure. I'm angry that I'm angry. I'm angry because they're watching me. They're watching me and staying away from me. And I really wanted to do my best. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to do my best. So did you hear the problem? I want. You see the problem now? All that I want in there? I never said anything but I am. I just said I want. I never said I am. The problem with the word or the sentence itself, I want to be, want, clinging and craving. To be, that's future tense. You just want to be in a state of that sentence, I want to be. You want to cut off the want, that's craving and attachment. Two, that's somebody's talking about to be, is talking about the future. You just want be. Just be. That's all you need to do is be. And watch your thoughts. Because your body is trying to make you stop and hate something that is physically challenging. It wants to be lazy. The body wants to take it easy all the time. It doesn't want you to go through hardship. Reiterating the point that the elder said, it is inside the hardship you will acquire wisdom. That was it in itself. I was trying to run away from the escape the hot sun, escape the tree leaves. Where were you escaping to? You're already in Cambodia. Where else do you want to go? You're already escaped. The mind is always constantly telling you something it wants to do in order to be the ruler, the CEO of your thoughts, of your behaviors. It wants to kick back, relax, do nothing, complain, and be the boss. That's what it wants to do all the time. Nothing grows there. Nothing, you can't gain any wisdom there. You have to reject, understand, know who that speaker is, and not give him any type of authority. No type of seat of position when it comes to applying the dharma, when it comes to applying mindfulness. Not at all. And when I finally started to realize that, boy, my sweeping became, that's when I became the master sweeper. And I loved sweeping until this day. Now if I sweep, I take my time, and it became like a dance. The broom became like my wife. It was like we were dancing together. I had a lot of respect for a broom. There was no more fighting this object. It became a tool of reverence. You see the forest once we sit there and make brooms all day? You start to respect the bamboo, the shavings of the long bristles of the broom, the quality, the time that it takes to make it. So all we do is sit and make these brooms, and you have to be smart, because the last thing you want to do is be on the top of that step, a million steps, and your broom breaks in half. I've had that happen. Oh, I didn't like that either. But at that time, I just laughed. At that time, when that was happening, I laughed. Because I knew it was going to be another test of sheer wisdom there. So, what happens when your broom breaks and you're in the middle of the jungle? You walk back down and go make another one and continue. Or you walk back down and continue tomorrow. No one is stressing you. I was the most stressed out monk, stressed out being in the jungle. Nobody was even watching me. It was just everything inside my head. I forgot, 2 or 2:30? 2:30? Okay. When you're sweeping, when you're in the forest, other things you need to worry about are the little critters that you're sweeping up. We're not allowed to be out there killing everything that you see with the... So you have to be mindful of the other sentient beings out there. Whether it be lizards, snakes, or a bunch of group of ants. So when you're angry, you don't care. You just sweep up everything you want to see it clean. So I'm out there fighting with the ants, thinking that I need to get rid of them because they're going to bite my feet. They bit my feet. Making a lot of mistakes as a young monk, but being taught by the best teacher that could ever be present, which is nature itself. That is my favorite, my most passionate teacher was nature. It taught me everything that I ever need to learn. Just being outside in the forest. It taught me how to observe myself. It taught me how that when the wind blew through the trees, the tree didn't stay stiff, it bent and it flowed with the wind. It didn't stay stiff. When gusts of wind went through the trees, it bent itself. Not like me all rigid. Some small thing happened and I snapped. I snapped on everybody. Letting go of ideas that didn't serve my purpose is just the same as the leaves that were shedding off of the tree when the wind blew. Exactly the same. Some people, when they're inside the forest, the jungle there, they were terrified to be in the jungle. Terrified. Like, why? I didn't understand. It was an ancient place. It was another place that was similar to Angkor Wat. They were scared of ghosts and all type of superstitions. True or not, I have no idea. But I know that people were terrified of it. They didn't like to go walking deep off into the forest. There was landmines, so don't go off the beaten track. I will say that part. There was landmines. They will get you. True. But for the most part, they were scared of these ghosts. That I was like, have you ever seen a ghost before? They were like, well, no, but it's okay. So why are you scared to go walking through the forest? Well, the ghosts are going to get me. I don't know what they were supposed to do. Would it tickle you to death? I didn't know. But like I was saying yesterday, the most terrifying animal in that forest is the human being. Burning, slashing, stepping, killing, everything in the forest. You are the most scariest thing in the forest. You're not scared of yourself because you're uninhabited, your psychotic mindset, you're willing to destroy the forest out of fear. While the animals are just living an animalistic lifestyle, they're just doing their thing. And I always tell people this story. You weren't scared of this? You weren't scared of snakes and tigers and nothing? Like, no, not really. We've already decimated all the lions inside the mountain lions. We've decimated them and the alligators in the rivers in Cambodia. They're gone. They might be in the deep, deep jungle, but they're not where the small populations where they got rid of them. When you meditate inside that forest, there's so many thoughts in the beginning. You're closing your eyes and meditating, and all you can think about is, please let the king cobra not come here. I mean, it's super far to get down from, you're at the top of this. I got pictures. You're at the top of the temple. Well, sky. You have to get down to the ashram. If something was to attack or bite you, I call those animals the 15-minute animals, because that's all you got. There's not like you're going to go rushing off to the hospital. Where's the hospital at? Where's that? Where's the clinic? No, there's not one. And I said to myself, how much time, how much effort, mind space am I going to be imagining this snake that's going to come out of nowhere just to find me to bite me? What is your karma? Your thoughts, your speech, and your actions. So the more I speak about it, the more I think about it, the more I fear it, guess what's going to call it? I'm going to call that snake here. I'm sending that vibration in the air for it to come towards me, or for me to contact it. to go where it's supposed to be at. I got tired of thinking about something that was imaginary in my own mind. I got tired of it. And once I start to drop off these ideas like the leaves of the tree, my meditation got stronger, my concentration became more potent, and my meditation started to feel so much lighter. What's a better way to go out than be in a state of meditational bliss? Even if it wasn't supposed to come and it bites you, what would you rather be doing? At the casino? What do you want? I don't know what you want. How do you really want to go out? If I was going to go out, well, at least I was doing something I was supposed to be doing. Remember, your mind knows you better than you know yourself. It will project anything it can. It'll project anything it can to make you stop doing what is wholesome, what is righteous. It's going to stop you from doing that. It wants to do what it wants to do. It wants to live on its imagination. It wants to be lazy. It wants to get you into conflict. It wants you to build your ego. When you don't listen, it throws temper tantrums. Did you hear that story the other person said? Ooh, that could have been you. Yeah, but it wasn't. So mind your business and continue. You have work to do. You came all the way from America to be scared of an imaginary snake? You're the snake. You are the snake that you're running away from. Looking for any reason to stop what you're doing. Looks like it's going to rain, huh? I better not go meditate today. It looks like it's going to rain. It's been sunny all day. Just because a couple clouds come, oh, look at that. Oh, it's going to rain. I should stay inside. Oh, it's too hot. I just stay inside my hammock. We had hammocks. The hammocks with a little mosquito net. It's pretty cool, to be honest with you. It's pretty interesting. When you are in such an environment, it's really harsh. And people always ask me, why did you go through such extremity? Was it necessary? Well, for me it was, because I was extremely ignorant. If you're extremely ignorant, you need to do the extremely wise thing to combat that. I was supportive of extreme ignorance. So I needed to be duly extreme in supporting wholesome attributes, the application of the dharma by any means necessary. There are some people that are still there to this day. I only lasted 2 years. I have friends that are still there right now. They've been there for now, they have been there for about 9 years. The temple is bigger. They have rooms now. There's showers. It's grown. It's amazing now. Maybe the most wonderful meditation center in Siem Reap at the moment. But just to think of the hardship that they had to go through. But the wisdom they have is immaculate. They were patient. And they dealt with the suffering. They dealt with their mind. They dealt with all of the insecurities. that come along with that path. The heat, unbearable. Unbearable heat. There's not that much electricity, so you can't have a fan with you all over the place. Especially inside the jungle, there's no fan. So you have to keep telling yourself that you have to wait until your body acclimates to the weather, which it will. The body is very resilient. I used to hate being in the AC after a while, which is the strangest thing ever. You think I'd be dying to go in the AC? Ooh, I get inside that AC, oh my goodness, it was so cold, I wanted to run outside. I became used to the heat outside. Weirdest thing ever. But it was fabulous. If I became used to the heat, that means I could sit out in meditation, no problem. You become so natural. There's no light, so you go to sleep when the sun sets and you wake up right before it rises. There's 2 different sets of animals. 2 to 3 different sets of animals depending on what time of the day it is. And you can hear them. So you know between your meditation how long you've been sitting there by hearing the animals outside in the forest. I never knew that. It was the coolest thing ever. You'd be early in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning, you sit there and meditate. And then you'd hear later on, when you're almost finished, a whole different set of birds. And that's how you know the sun was out and you knew that it was time to get ready to go on the alms round. Just by hearing a certain type of birds. There's no usage of a time, a clock, or a watch. I don't know how many times I asked the monks what time it is, and they're like, what? I don't know. Like, why would I need to know that? Like, for them, it was a very asinine question. Why would you need to know what time it is? We get up and pray in the morning. We go on alms round. Evening chanting, we meditate, and we go to sleep. That's our routine. You don't know what time it is? Go look at the horizon. It's a strange concept, but you're going back to nature. You're going back to the element of using nature to be natural. Took it for granted. I didn't really understand it until afterwards, you know. I still got to go back to that temple again. I want to tell the master, my master, that I was sorry for using all those candles. We had these big fat candles. Oh man, I feel so bad. Me being in this little cave enclave thing, I used to use these really fat candles. They were for the ceremonies, man. Okay, and people used to donate. We had hundreds and hundreds of these candles. I didn't like to be in the pitch black in that cave, right? The little enclave. I didn't like it. So I took about 7, 8 of these big, huge candles over in the enclave, and I used to light them all at one time. I had a tent, and I used to light them in the evening so I'd have a little bit of light just in case, you know, I'm far off and I wanted to use the restroom, or I wanted to see if there was something outside the tent, just in case I stepped on a scorpion or stepped on a snake or stepped on a tarantula or something. I don't want to do that, right? And I thought that having these candles would keep critters away. Not really. So I get to sleep in my tent, and I start hearing I have the altar, everything. Man, I'm gonna show you the pictures. So I got So I got this big altar. I set it up. I was so proud. Yeah, I got the Buddha altar and my, I have the Buddha statue, everything, all these pictures and everything. Set it up real nice. I'm feeling good about myself, and I go to sleep. And I started hearing this crackling noise. And I was like, what is that noise? And I start seeing the light get brighter. And I looked outside my tent, and my whole altar was on fire. Blazing on fire. So I jump out of the tent and start pouring as much water that I could find, throwing sand and water all over the altar, burnt it almost half up. And that is when I realized, just like one candle, not 7. Just like one candle. And if it blows out, it just blows out. You got to get used to sleeping in the dark. And I thought about how selfish it was to take everybody's candle. Those candles were ceremonial. I didn't know it at the time because people come, they come and offer candles. But how selfish was I in the first place? Anyway, we taking all those big candles. You have to learn how to sleep like they do. They don't use candles. They just go in there and conk out. So now I have a half an altar burnt up and a bunch of mosquitoes in my tent. Right? And it was such a shame. I had brought all these stuff back from Thailand and put on the altar. It's gone now. All that effort because of mindlessness. The storm. That was a tough one. That was before I burnt down my altar. But when the storm and the winds came, I was sitting just like this in the little mesh screen of my tent, and I watched each candle. Boop, 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 boop. I watched each one of them blow out, and I was just like, oh. I couldn't get out the tent. The rain would start coming, the lightning would start flashing, and I just said to myself, it's about to be a tough night. I did not sleep that night. It was raining heavily. Usually we have a tent with a tarp over the top. And the tarp over the top is supposed to shoot the water off of each side. But it was raining so heavy, blanket sheet rain, instead of taking the water off the side, it created like a puddle. And it was pressing on the top of my tent, and you could see the water seeping through in the inside of the tent. I had to use my staff and poke or push the water off of each side the whole night. And still not worried about the trees falling on top of the tent. The lightning, you're in a mountain, so the lightning is hitting the mountain. You could hear it, you could see it. It sounded like a bomb. It was, you could literally see the lightning hit the ground. Maybe about like 20, 30 feet away. You could see it. It's like right there, like, oh. You could see it. It's in the jungle. Lots of minerals inside the forest. Untouched raw forest, raw mountain. So you can't get out the tent. You're waiting for the tree to smash you. You're not worried about ghosts. You're not worried about snakes. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's funny how your mind projects what's important. Where'd the idea all these goobly-gooblies come from? That's gone. So it's weird how your mind prioritizes what to pay attention to. I sat there all night. That morning I was so tired. All of us were tired. Some people, they just had a hammock between a tree. I don't know how they did it. They didn't have a mosquito net. They had a hammock between 2 trees and a blanket. They didn't care about no snakes. See, that for me was some tough man stuff. I couldn't have did that. Okay, they had a hammock. The storm came. I have no idea where they went. I don't know where they went after that. I was way too far to pack up anything to run to the ashram. I was scared. There was a small trail, there's stuff all in the, when it rains in the jungle, everything comes out of the earth. All the little critters come out. All of them start to come out, and they're looking for a dry place. So if you open your tent, you're done. They're all gonna run in. All those spiders, all of anything, they're jumping inside your tent. So you can't go outside unless you want to sleep with them. I'm not really a big fan of huge spiders. And they're not even toxic or nothing, but I mean, he's a huge spider. I don't think we need to sleep together. I had nothing to prove to anybody. I had nothing to prove to anybody. And I started to question, was it necessary for me to be here longer or sustain being here? You gained your marks. Go back to the ashram where it's noisy and be quiet. But at that time, I didn't go back to the ashram. I said, okay, it was 2 years, is good enough. I'm going to Thailand. And I quietly made arrangements for me to go inside of a monastery that was a little more mellow in Thailand. Just a little bit. It was difficult because I had this huge bucket. I drug this huge blue bucket. I drug it from the ashram all the way back into the jungle. And then I had to get 2 pails and go toward the bathroom to fill up with water and keep making trips back and forth to fill up the water, which I use for coffee and to take showers or take baths outside. But remember, I had to constantly remind myself this is a labor of love. Don't do it angry. Sweeping, right? It was a labor of love. If you're starting to breathe heavy and have bad thoughts, slow down. No one is rushing you to do this right now. Slow down and take your time. And remember your mindfulness. Remember your breath. Remember your purpose. You chose this life. So love it. If you don't love it, leave it. But don't complain about it. Taking a bath, you have to have a little loincloth. Taking a bath in raw nature, dude, it was awesome. I'm gonna tell you that right now, man. It was super awesome. No, I'm not even gonna lie. I know it sounds weird. I mean, you're raw. It's just kind of, it's kind of like those people downtown, some of the people downtown. But it was different. You're just in nature, the sun is drying you off, and you got the water, you got the bucket, it was a really intimate time. No one's really watching you, because they're all doing it too. So no one's watching you. It's hot, it was refreshing. And every scoop of water, you don't waste it. Because you know what it feels like that you have to walk way over there to get the water. It was a blessing. Every time you put the ladle inside of that water, it was a blessing when you're purifying your mind, your intention, your thought. It reminded you the importance of having a positive attitude, saying positive affirmations, and respecting the labor-intensive work that it took for yourself and others. It'll force you to respect others, because you know what it means to have that water or your altar, your candles. You really start to understand what it means to feel and put yourself in the shoes of others, because they're also doing the same like you. And if they're not, you have to have compassion for them because they're really living rough. They're just the same as you, but they don't want to do it. They're lazy. A lot of them are really lazy, but you have to have compassion. But remember, if you don't respect the forest and you don't respect the Dharma, you're on your way out the door. You're going to leave the monkhood and you're about to leave the temple. So they also told me that Master also told me he knows who's going to stay the longest or stay long in the monkhood just by watching their habits inside the temple. Just the things that they do, he knows that this one, he's not going to last long. He'll just be here for a few months, maybe 1 year. If he toughs it out 1 year, and he'll leave quick. But that guy over there, you see that one over there? Yeah, he's a long timer. He'll be here for a long time. So the force shapes you, it molds you. It mends you, it makes you adapt or it kicks you out. I was terrified to be kicked out of the monkhood. So I learned how to adapt. First by my attitude, then by my actions. And I had to love the importance of nekama, which is renunciation. I had to love it. I had to accept nekama, the renunciation, and what it means. It forces you to accept that way. Because if you do not, you came all the way over here to Cambodia to fly back home to be a failure? You're here. Let's get to it. Because that lifestyle, what you left, oh, that's easy to go back to. But you know it doesn't lead you anywhere. But this here, this unlocks the door of liberation, unlocks the door of real freedom. It'll make you the real, it'll turn you into the sage, the real sage. It'll make you a strong woman, it'll make you a strong man, it'll make you a strong, sentient being. It is 2:30, brothers, sisters in the Dharma, elders in the Dharma. If there's anything I said that it goes against the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, the Arahants of the Bodhisattva way, please revert back to the text. And with that being said, we have, I think it was a walking meditation for 30 minutes. Thank you, brother. And may the footsteps we take be the curses that we break, and the merit shall, let that merit be that what takes us closer to the ending of suffering and lead us toward Nibbana. Satu. Satu, satu. Amitaho. 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 Stop this real quick.